This is a leaky faucet dripping water day and night. At first, it seems harmless, just a drop here and there. But over time, the water adds up, and before you know it, you've wasted gallons. Cost control works the same way. Many people make the mistake of letting small, unnecessary expenses trickle out of their pockets daily. It might seem like no big deal, but these little leaks can add up to significant losses, draining your bank account before you even realize it. One of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to cost control is not tracking their spending. Just like that faucet, if you don't keep an eye on where your money is going, you'll lose control. Most people have no idea how much they spend on things like coffee, subscriptions, or impulse purchases. They assume these small amounts are irrelevant, but over time, they make a huge difference. The best way to fix this mistake is by tracking every expense, no matter how small. It might seem tedious, but knowing exactly where your money goes is the first step to controlling it. Another mistake people make is focusing only on cutting big costs while ignoring the small ones. Many assume that to save money, they need to make huge lifestyle changes like moving to a cheaper house or selling their car. While those changes can help, the real culprit often lies in the small, everyday expenses. It's the daily lunch, the premium cable package, the gym membership you never use. These are the hidden leaks that slowly but surely bleed you dry. By focusing on cutting back on small, non-essential costs, you can save a surprising amount of money without feeling deprived. People also make the mistake of thinking short-term instead of long-term. They cut costs in ways that give immediate results but hurt them in the future. For example, skipping routine car maintenance to save money today might lead to expensive repairs down the road. Choosing cheap, low-quality products might seem like a bargain now, but they wear out faster, meaning you end up spending more to replace them. True cost control requires thinking ahead and making decisions that might cost a bit more now but save you much more in the long run. A common error is trying to control costs without a plan. Many people decide to spend less without a clear strategy. They cut random expenses here and there but don't have a structured approach. This is like trying to fix a leaky faucet by guessing which parts to replace without understanding how the system works. Successful cost control requires a budget, a plan for where your money goes each month. When you have a clear budget, you know exactly where you can afford to cut and where you need to spend. Another major mistake is relying on credit for everyday expenses. This is like using a bucket to catch the water from the leaky faucet but never actually fixing the problem. Sure, it helps in the short term, but you're still losing water and eventually the bucket will overflow. Relying on credit cards for things like groceries, bills, or entertainment might seem like a temporary solution, but in the end, it leads to mounting debt and higher interest payments. Instead of leaning on credit, focus on cutting unnecessary expenses so you can live within your means. People also fail at cost control by overlooking the power of negotiation. Most think that prices are fixed, but the truth is many costs are negotiable. Whether it's negotiating a better deal on your internet bill, shopping around for cheaper insurance, or asking for discounts on large purchases, you'd be surprised how much money you can save simply by asking. Yet, many people never even try, missing out on potential savings that could make a real difference in their finances. Another significant mistake is failing to automate savings. People often tell themselves they'll save whatever is left over at the end of the month, but guess what? There's rarely anything left over. If you wait to save until after you've spent on everything else, you'll never get ahead. Instead, automate your savings. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account every payday. This ensures you're saving consistently without having to think about it, and you'll be surprised how quickly your savings grow over time. Some people also fall into the trap of trying to keep up with others' lifestyles. Whether it's upgrading to the latest phone, buying designer clothes, or going on extravagant vacations, it's easy to get caught up in the pressure to spend like those around you. But this mindset only leads to unnecessary spending and financial stress. Instead, focus on living within your means and spending money on things that truly bring value to your life, not on impressing others. Lastly, people often neglect to review their costs regularly. Just because you set up a budget once doesn't mean it's set in stone. Costs change, life circumstances shift, and new expenses can creep in. If you don't regularly review your spending and adjust your budget, those small leaks can slowly start to add up again. By regularly checking in on your financial situation and making necessary tweaks, you can keep your finances under control and avoid any surprises. If you avoid these common mistakes and take control of your costs with intention and awareness, you'll stop the leaks before they become floods. Every day you stay on top of your spending, you'll be moving closer to financial stability. And if you do this consistently, it becomes almost impossible to stay poor. Just like fixing that leaky faucet, once you've sealed the cracks in your spending, your financial situation will steadily improve.